Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you are watching this video for the first time, please take a minute, subscribe to the channel. Let us get to 1,000 subscribers in the next 30 days. Our main intake is ongoing, so you can reach me through my number on the YouTube bio. Yeah, so I'll do this question 23, and it's interesting because this is a question that I was able to do 6 days ago, and I tested it for my students as a mock questions. So if you have been my students, then I'm sure that you will be able to score the free 20 marks given in this question. So I'll read the question without much ado. Apollo Limited manufactures fresh juice for both local and export markets. The company has provided the following data for the year 2024. So we have months from 1st January 2024 to 1st December 2024. So we have quantities produced and we have the production cost. Yeah, so production cost, the shillings are in thousands. Yeah, so maybe you will allow me to update this. So what I will do, so that let me just do the 1,000 here. Yeah, but even if you do it this way, there's no problem. Yeah, if you use the values the way they are, no one will penalize you. Yeah, so but I want to change this for accuracy purposes. Yeah, because I'm teaching. So I'll have 72, then I'll multiply by 1,000. Yeah, so I'll multiply everything here by 1,000, and because that 1,000 is constant, I'll lock it. Yeah, and I've said, I repeat again, if you use the values the way they are, no one will penalize you. So long as you have done the right, you have got the right answer. Yeah. So I'll enter that. So we'll have that as the production costs. Yeah. So we'll have that. I'll copy that there. Yeah. I'm just changing this to be in thousands. Yeah. Yeah. Then now I can drag all the way up to the last value. Yeah. Yeah. I want to use those values in the real amount. Yeah. So part A, generate the descriptive statistics for quantities and production cost. Yeah, so I've said if you have not, for you to do this question, you have what we call the data analysis. So for data analysis tab, you always go to data, and I have it here already. But if you don't have it on your side, you just go to file, and you go to options, you click options, then it will give you this window. Then you come here and say add-ins. Yeah, then manage. Yeah, you will select the Excel add-ins, because mine is already selected. Then you say go. Yeah, so once you say go, it will give you this window. So you select the analysis toolpack and analysis toolpack VBA. Then you just say okay. Yeah, so once you say okay, this data analysis will appear here. So you can't tackle the whole of this question without that tab there called data analysis. Yeah, so generate the descriptive statistics for quantities and production cost. The descriptive statistics are the mean, the mode, and the median, the kurtosis, the skewness. Yeah, so how are you going to handle it? Through Excel. Yeah, so this is what you do, and you get your 4 marks. So they've said that we do the same for quantities and production cost. So I will start with the one for quantities. Yeah, so maybe I'll put it here. So quantities produced. Yeah. So once you have that, sorry for that, quantities, the spelling. Yeah, there's no problem. There's no worry about that. Yeah, so you go to data analysis. You select it, then you go to descriptive statistics. Yeah, they're specific. Yeah, then you say okay. So once you say okay, it will give you this window here, and I want to do it somewhere there. So the input range. Yeah, so I'm starting with quantities produced. Yeah, so my input range, I will select these quantities. Yeah, up to the last one. Up to the last one. Yeah, so once you select that, you go to grouped by. So it's a column, yeah? These are arranged in a column. If they were in a row, then you select a row. Yeah, and because they're column, you select the columns. Labels in first row, there were no labels, huh? Yeah, there were no labels. So output range, you come and select that. So where do you want the data to appear? So I want the data to appear here. Yes, I'll select that, yeah, here. So I'll click that. New worksheet, no. New workbook, no. So what do you want? I want the summary statistics. So I'll I'll highlight that. Yeah, when you say summary statistics, those are the modes, the median, the mode, yeah, all those, the mean. Yeah, then you select everything. Yeah, let me just tell you, you just select everything. Yeah, yeah, then you just say okay. Yeah, so once you say okay, you can see, yeah, column 1, yeah, I've given me mean. Yeah, you can see the mean, the standard error, the median, the mode is 40,000. So mode, from your statistics knowledge, yeah, it's appear more than once. Huh? And you can see in February 2024, it was 480. Then on 1st May 2024, we also have 480. Yeah, 40,000. So that's the mode. Huh? Yeah, so I'll do the same for the production. Yeah, because they said even for production costs. Yeah. So this one you will get, I don't know, maybe they will award you 2 marks because the total was 4. Yeah, so I'll do the same for production costs. Yeah, so I'll go to data analysis. The same descriptive statistics, I'll say okay. Yeah, but I'll delete this because this was data captured for quantity. Yeah, I'll also delete this. So my input range here now will be this, the values here, the 72 million. Yeah, so I'll select from there all the way up to the last value, which is that. Yeah, so once you select that, you grouped column. Yeah, this is also on the column again. If it was on the row, then you click row. Yeah, so columns already selected. There was no label. Label means if I've selected this production cost. Yeah, so I don't want to select it. There's no need. So the output range, sorry, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it here. I didn't write it, but it's okay. Let me select that as the output range. So I'll also, let me undo this first. I failed to do that. Yeah, but you just come and still click this. Yeah, because that's the same information you want, everything. The kutos is smallest and largest. There's no problem. Then you say okay. Yeah, so once you say okay, you can see for column 1, this was production costs. So you just come and copy that. Yeah. So for production cost, you can see we have a mean of that, standard error of that, median of that, mode not applicable. You don't know the reason why mode is not applicable, it's not available, because there was no, along these values, there was no value which was appearing twice. Yeah, so there was no mode. So standard deviation given all the way to range. So that's how you were supposed to tackle that question, and you run away with the 4 marks. Yeah, then I'll go to part B. Generate the regression output and estimate the cost of producing 900,000 units at the 95% confidence level. The same thing, you go to data, then you go to data analysis. Yeah, but this time we are looking for regression. So you go down and you click regression, then you say okay. Yeah, so once you say okay, I'll move this down here. You say, okay, what's the input y range? I told you that the format is in the form of y is equal to a plus bx. So y is the production costs, while quantity produced is the x, yeah? That's the x. So y, we say that y is if you're a student of statistics, then you know y is a dependent variable, while x is the dependent variable. Yeah. So input y range, I told you just select the input y. So the production cost at the input y range. Yeah. The reason why I change this into thousands so that I get the accurate numbers. Yeah. I don't want to gamble. So you just highlight that. Then once you are done with that, I think I've selected everything there. Then input X is this. So you select all that up to December. Yeah, to December, that's okay. So there was no label because I didn't select the headings. Yeah, then the confidence level is 95. They are categorical that you do it that way. So let me drag it now there. So output range, where do I want my data to appear? You come and click that. I want that summary to appear here. So I'll select it here. Up to that point, yeah, there was nothing like probability. So I'll just say okay. Okay, so once you say okay, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. The numbers are there. Numbers are there. So I told you that once you get the summary output, you look at the observations, 12, yeah, because you could have selected 10, yeah, and you think that you are right. So once you justify that this is correct, and you have choose the correct y and x input range, then you're good to go. Yeah, so you can answer that question. So I've answered the first part, generate the regression output. I've done that. So I'll estimate the cost of producing 900,000 units at the confidence interval of 95%, which already it's captured here. So here, the regression is in the form of y equals to a plus bx. Okay. Yeah. So y, I told you that when it comes to cost, y is the total production cost, while a is the fixed cost, then b is the variable cost per unit, while x is the independent variable. So in this case, now, what you will analyze with this is the coefficients here. Yeah. So the intercept here is a, while x variable 1 is b. Yeah, so it means that a at this point, a, which is the fixed cost, don't forget, a is this value here. So I'll just say equals 2. And I can even, let me just copy it the way it is. Then b, and I've said, I'll repeat again, even if you use the thousands there, yeah, the values without, no, you are not wrong. Yeah? They will give you the marks. Yeah, and b is this, is the x variable 1. So once you get those values, so it means that this is the cost, this is the variable cost per unit, while this is the fixed cost. Yeah. So for you to estimate the cost, the total production cost of 900,000 units, units are represented by what? The quantities produced, yeah, the X. Yeah, so now that we have A and B, then we can be able to get Y, which is the total production cost. Yeah, so I'll start by, I'll just say equals to, let me see, equals to, so it was 900,000. Sorry, it was this, plus, bracket, we have 900,000 units. That's B. So Y is equal to A plus B. Yeah, so I've picked A. Then we'll have 900,000 times X. Sorry, B times X. So times B, yeah? This one here. Yeah, then you close the bracket. Then you say enter. Yeah, so when you enter, you will realize that the total cost for the 900,000 units is this value here. Yeah, so this was the total cost. Yeah, so this is Y, yeah, Y, which is now the total cost for the production of 900,000 units. Yeah, and imagine you get 12 marks for doing this and getting this value here. Yeah, simple. And I had a similar question on my mock. So part C, if the selling price is 250 per unit, determined by graphical method, the break-even point. So we are going to get the break-even point first in units. Then now we can be able to prepare the graph. Yeah. So if you are given the selling price, so we'll have a selling price. So let me say break-even point. Sorry. Oh, so we are going to say break-even point. Sorry. Let me start with kappa. Break-even point. So we always have break-even point in sales or in units. So break-even point is whereby total revenue equals to total cost. Yeah, as simple as such. So we have a selling price. So that given the selling price to be 250. The selling price was 250 per unit, yeah? These are per unit, yeah, selling price per unit. Let me note it that way. Per unit. Then we have the variable cost also per unit. Yeah, because once you have the variable cost per unit, you'll be able to get the break-even point in units or in break-even point in sales. Yeah. Yeah, so variable cost per unit also. So where do we get the variable cost per unit? If you have done these workings correctly, then your variable cost per unit, I said that the variable cost per unit will be represented by B. Yeah, when you're dealing with cost. So the B was this. So this is the variable cost per unit. So I'm tempted to reduce it, to this to 0 decimal. Yeah, I hope will still be correct. So let me reduce it. Yeah, so that when I subtract this to 50, it will be, I will have a full figure, but there's no problem. So now we'll also have to have the fixed cost. Yeah, because we must have the fixed cost. fixed cost. So what is the fixed cost? So the fixed cost is this value here. That one, huh? Yeah, let me just use the values the way they are. Yeah, so therefore, what is the break-even point? Yeah, the break-even point in units, break-even points in units. So I'll say bracket units. Yeah, remember I had a similar question for break-even on my paper, on my mock paper. So always don't avoid my papers. Yeah, break-even points in units will be the total fixed cost, which is here. You divide by what? The contribution margin per unit. So what is the contribution margin per unit? So the contribution margin per unit is always the selling price minus selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Yeah. So I just come here and say equals to fixed cost. You divide by contribution margin per ratio, or sorry. Let me just get the contribution margin per unit here first. Contribution margin per unit, CM per unit. I just have to put it that way. Yeah, so what is my contribution margin per unit? My contribution margin per unit, simple. Yeah, it's selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So once you have that, that will be 154 point that's the contribution margin per unit. So what will be my break even point in units? Break even points in units. Yeah, so once you have that, you have everything. So you just come here and say equals to the fixed cost, which is this. You divide by contribution margin per unit, that value. Yeah, so you'll have that value, 102,726. That's the number of units. So I don't know whether you can have decimal units, huh? Yeah, so let me do this. Let me just reduce it. Yeah, so that I use a whole figure. So I'll decrease, huh, the decimals so that I have, yeah. So I'll have that as the, so at break-even point in units, we are supposed to have 102,763 units. Yeah. So this is what we are going to work with to prepare a graph. And similar questions have been tested before. So we'll have units here. Then what will we have? We'll have total revenue. So I'll say TR. Then we'll have fixed cost. Because this does not change regardless of the number of units produced. So we'll have fixed cost. That's what we need. Then we'll have also variable cost per unit. Yeah, variable cost. Yeah, total variable cost, not variable cost per unit. Yeah. Yeah, so what that once we have that, then we'll have what we call the total cost. Yeah, because what we need is the total revenue, the number of units, and the total cost. Yeah, because at break-even point, revenue equals to cost, meaning profit is zero. So we can include profit here, but it's not necessary for me. Yeah, because the examiner just wants us to present graphically. Yeah. So break-even point, the number of units here is 102,763. Yeah. So when you look at the units, these are the units. Yeah, these are the units. Yeah, so it means you are going to analyze this question. So what I'm going to do, this is 100,000. So I'll start with, I have to have values above and below the break-even point. Yeah. So break-even point should be somewhere in the middle. Yeah, that's the reasoning. So I'll start with, I don't, yeah, because this, if it was 100,000, I could have added. Yeah, so let me just say I can have 50,000 units. Yeah, I can just guess. There's no standard because this question, uh, 70. Yeah, let me add 20, 90, 90. Yeah, so from 90, let me now have 102. Yeah, that value the way it is, 102,763 units. Sorry. Yeah, so above this, I can have 105,000. You don't have to struggle with many units. Then maybe I have 120, just guess. Because there's no unifying figure. If this was 100,000, then the graph could be. Then I can also have 125,000. Let me not move so, let me not go fast. So total revenue. So what will be the revenue? If the selling price was that, so the revenue will be this. You multiply by selling price per unit, which does not change. It's constant all through, was 250. So I'll lock it so that I can just drag to save on time. To save on time. Then you enter. So you'll have revenue, that. Then you drag that one. So that's revenue. So the fixed cost, it was uniform. What was the fixed cost? It was this. So you'll have that fixed cost all through. So it doesn't change regardless of the number of units produced. So you drag that. It will be constant all through. Then variable cost per unit was, how much was this value here? That one. So I'll pick it fully. Then you multiply by the number of units because it's per unit. So times 50. But this variable cost per unit was constant all through. It didn't change throughout the production. It was that all through. So I'll lock it. Then I'll enter. So once you enter that, you just drag that. So what will be my total cost? So my total cost will be fixed cost plus variable cost. Then I'll drag that. So so you can see at 102,763, you can see that total revenue is 256,9750, 256,9721. There's that difference because I reduced that. I reduced this. I reduced this to let me see if I can increase so that we just have break-even point in units. Let me increase this. Because they have to be the same so that so it's that way. Okay. So that you can see they're almost the same. Let me see if but units, you see, these units, we cannot have units in we cannot have units, but let us just work with what Excel wants. So I'll just say equals to, replace that there, and we see if 256 256.90. Let me undo that. Let me just reduce it to what it was. 720. You can see 25,690,750, 721. There's that difference, but total revenue must be equal to total cost. There's that difference because of the rounding off. But now this is what you do. When now you are preparing the graph, once you prepare something like this, then you are good to go. You are good to go. So this total cost should be equals to total revenue. They should be equal because at break-even point, the profit is 0. So that you take this, you subtract, is 0. Let me see if it will be able to give me a graph where they meet at a point. Let me see. So you select this, and then you touch on the control, you select TR, you touch that, you select also that, you touch that. What I want you to know is that at 102,763, the revenue must be equals to, then you just go to insert, you go to insert, so you go to recommended charts, and you can see we have it here. We have that there. So you say okay. So once you say okay, you can see they're crossing. So at the break-even point is here. So it has been captured correctly through the graph. So just come and change the title and say break-even. And you say break-even. Chart title, break-even point. Break-even point. point. Yeah, break-even point. Yeah, just okay. And you love that. So you can see at this was represented by the number of units. Yeah, while this now the sales, huh? Yeah, the revenue. Yeah, the revenue. It's here. Yeah, so that's what the examiner required of you in this question. Yeah, and you go run away with the 20 marks. Yeah, you run away with 20 marks. So until next time, have a blessed evening. And I'll still like to remind you that the May intake is on. So reach me out through my number on the bio. Yeah, start the classes as early as possible so that you'll be able to get enough time to revise and even to pass your paper. Thank you so much and have a blessed evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Stop.